Evan Osnos. You're the New Yorker's correspondent for China. You spent 8 years there. The result is your brand new fantastic book, Age of Ambition. How hard is it to get your arms around China?
I mean, this is the problem, right? It's not one China. There's got to be 15 Chinas if you really want to parse the different markets regionally, by class. In the end, what I identified, and this is the subject of the book, is that the single most powerful force, the thing that explains just about everything when I sit down and look at it, is the power of aspiration on an individual level. People making choices for themselves that they've never had before.
People making choices. I thought that the Communist Party ran China.
Well, that's
How
it.
wrong am I?
No, you're right about that. This is the inherent tension, right? This is the moment where we're in now, where you've got people who are making choices about where they want to work, where they want to invest, what kind of businesses they're going to create. And then you've got a political system that in the end has a limited tolerance for that. And that's where you see these contradictions over and over again.
Well, I think it was Napoleon who once said, "Let China sleep, because when she wakes, she will rock the world." How much has China awoken? How sleepy are they, or how awake are they?
You know, there's two ways to look at it. We're 30 years into an extraordinary economic story. Look, today, your average Chinese person eats 6 times the amount of meat that they ate in 1976. Think of the ramifications on global markets. At the same time, though, they're at the end of the first kind of economic revolution they can have. People basically recognize now we're reaching a point where something's got to change in the economic model.
And there's a lot of calls in the U.S. by hedge fund managers that there's a property bubble going over there. They're getting too into capitalism, perhaps. You even had an article this week by Gillian Tett in the FT saying that it's looking like Japan in the 80s. From your experience there, writing The Age of Ambition, is that true?
I think there's a lot to be said about the fact that we're probably nearing some kind of reckoning. On the other hand, there are differences between China today and Japan. Chinese government has extraordinary control over where credit goes, where money goes. They can redefine the way the banking system when they want to. Redefine the way it works. For instance, they've said they're going to liberalize deposit rates. They're trying to move money into the hands of consumers as much as they can. The difference is, however, is that there are huge vested interests. There are a lot of people who don't want the system to change. The question will be whether the political leadership has the will to do so.
And if you were to invest in a vehicle that invested in China, buy a Chinese stock or a mutual fund, how would you do it? I mean, it's hard to make investment decisions about China over here. You live there. How would you do it?
Well, look, in Age of Ambition, what I've figured out, what I described, is that if a family has $1 extra, they're going to put that money into healthcare and into education. And right now, you've got extraordinary opportunities in private healthcare and in private education. I expect those sectors to do well in the years ahead.
And then finally, China, we keep hearing that they're going to overtake the U.S. in terms of the economic size. Some people say they already have. Some people say it's going to be a few years from now. Friend or foe?
They're a partner, whether we like it or not. This is like a bad buddy comedy in which we're stuck together. And we don't really have a choice to choose whether they're going to be an enemy because, you know, we're taking in $400 billion worth of goods and we're sending them $100 billion a year. We just got to learn to get along.
But what about those Japanese islands? Could it turn tense, or will we put the business relationship above that?
No, I think that's a serious hotspot. Look, we have to be realistic that the Chinese are making decisions now that are about more than economics. They're making decisions about what it's going to take to pull the country together, and they're trying to rally people around the flag. If I had to identify the single largest risk, I think, today to the Chinese economy, oddly enough, it's actually the political and military risk of a conflict in the East China Sea.
All right, thanks a lot, Evan.
Thanks, Greg.
And thank you for watching The Street.